So when we first decided to start the Engine Gremlin channel, one of the first decisions we had to make was, what kind of car are we going to make? So I asked the guys. So with their feedback in mind, I started to narrow down the list. We knew we wanted something American-made, preferably in the late 60s and early 70s era, maybe something from the 80s. The body style had to be a muscle car. To give you an idea of the cars we were targeting, we were considering Mustangs, Camaros, Challengers, Chevelles, etc. When I worked through the list, it began to narrow down based on cost, parts availability, style, and a few other factors. Eventually, I was left with a Mustang, an Impala, a Datsun Z, or a Plymouth Fury. Now, the Plymouth Fury made the list because I had actually managed to track down my grandfather's 1958 Plymouth Fury, and I was really keen on restoring it. But unfortunately, it was in the process of being restored by the current owner and his grandson, and that's something I didn't want to take away from him. So the Fury was dropped from the list. With the list narrowed down, I started the search. Hi, I'm calling about the Camaro that you had listed for sale. Calling about the 1969 Mustang. Calling about the 1965 Impala. You had calling about the 1958 Plymouth Fury, 59 Plymouth Fury, the 1967 Camaro, the 1969 Chevelle, 1971 Mustang. 1971 Mustang. It's been sold. How many miles does it have on it currently? Does it run? Doesn't run. Do you know what's wrong with it? How much you want for it? After about a week of searching and multiple failures, I remembered I had seen an old Mustang in a barn when I worked on a farm in high school. Having seen the car before, I knew it was in decent shape and ran when it was first stored in the barn, so I called the owner up. Hey Dwayne, this is John. You had that old Mustang out in the barn. Anything ever happen with that car? Is that something you would ever have any interest in selling? You know, how much you want for it? Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yes! I think I got a car. So after a week of searching and cold calls and finding different cars that were either in disrepair or were exorbitantly priced or something was wrong with it, none of them were really fitting quite right. I did remember that I had seen a Mustang growing up when I was in high school, and the owner and I were talking, and after reviewing a lot of the photographs that he sent me, the car looked like it was in great shape. It's been in a barn for 33 years. It looked straight, so we started talking price, and we came on something that was agreeable, and we have a car. So a little bit later this year, we're going to go down to Carthage, Missouri. We're going to go check out the car, try and pull it out of the barn, and if everything looks hunky-dory and great, we'll bring the car back to Colorado. The car actually has a pretty good story behind it. So the owner was the second owner. He got it in 1973 for his 16th birthday, and he would use it for the next 15 years or so as his daily driver and get him through the 10 odd years of medical school until he had to leave the state to finish his medical degree. Now, when he left to leave the state, that is when he put it in the barn, and unfortunately, it just never came back out of the barn. Life kind of got in the way, but it stayed there in great condition, waiting for us to come along and restore it. So, very exciting, and I cannot wait to show him the car once we're finished with it and show it restored. Get back in touch with him and have him drive it, one more time, and it's looking great. Now, the car is a 1968 Mustang Coupe. It is the base model, which means it has the 200 cubic inch, 3.3 liter straight six. Now, a lot of you may groan at the idea of a straight six, but the fact is, other than their top end, they're still a solid, reliable motor. They don't get the respect that they deserve. They were reliable, they got great gas mileage even back then, and rebuilt properly, it's going to be a really good engine in this car. So I think we're going to keep the straight six, but do please leave your comments and tell us what you think we should do with the motor and with the engine and with the car. I'm going to be posting some photos on Instagram here pretty soon so you can see kind of what we're working with, and we're going to have some additional videos here coming soon of us going to get the car when we head down to Carthage. So please stay tuned. We have some other videos planned about rendering of the car and some of the plans that we're coming up with for the car before we go to Carthage, Missouri to go get it. Then we'll be uploading some additional videos of going to get the car and pulling it out of the barn, getting it back up here to Colorado, and then we're going to start the work on the car proper. Until then, please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the car, what you think we should do with the car. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps us release better quality content on a regular basis. It helps us make a better car altogether. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Please also consider checking out our Patreon page at patreon.com/enginegremlin. Any support that you could give is greatly appreciated. And, we're really grateful to everyone who's watching and everyone who supports us. So, I will see you guys next time. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Engine Gremlin. If you like what you saw and you like what we do, please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It helps us make better quality content and on a more regular basis. And I would really, really like to hire an editor someday. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Links are down in the description. And please consider donating to our Patreon page, like our YouTube channel. It helps us make better quality content on a regular basis. And ultimately, it's going to help us make a better quality car in the end. So, like I said, thank you guys so much again for watching this week's episode. I will see you guys next time.